Ah, morning. Um, Today is day 6, 7, and 8 of my mental health recovery. If I feel sound a little winded, I just got back from a run. I actually don't like running, but it's like one of the things that I used to do quite a bit. So I'm just trying to get back into stuff that I used to do. I used to do a lot of probably more of like the Spartan stuff, but like full on running wasn't necessarily my favorite because I have pretty bad knees and trying to save them as long as I can. Um, so this weekend was the first weekend with my munchkin, um, which was good. There was quite a bit of, I guess, crying to kind of explain stuff to him because I don't think he understands like how everything went down, and maybe he does, and he's just kind of hoping that it'll go back. But he's having kind of a tough time. The good thing is with the dogs, he was able to sleep in his own room, so that was kind of a good thing because he's kind of like I don't know, like an octopus or a spider monkey, and he is like a heater, so he likes to sleep close, and I sleep really hot. I can literally sleep with just a sheet, and I'm usually pretty good. So it was nice not to have his little heater body in the bed. But obviously, if he needs, extra comfort, I'm definitely gonna be able to be there and make sure he's good. But I think this is kind of helping him a little bit to kind of with the dogs, kind of help him through everything. So today is going to be one of my first therapy appointments. Kind of looking forward to it and nervous at the same time, and not exactly sure why I'm so nervous, but I don't know. It's just there's so many different things going on, and I think it's just kind of a rough going, honestly. So I'm just trying to make it through day by day without like spiraling, I guess is what I'll call it, where my anxiety will take over everything, and I kind of just spiral down into depression. Doing my best to not do that. Doing a lot more working out, trying to take care of everything, with putting the house on the rental market, just because selling it right now wouldn't be financially feasible. I actually should be moving into, well, getting the keys to the apartment that I got today. Um, so it's going to be kind of a big process to kind of move everything over to the other place. So can't say I'm necessarily looking forward to that, but I think I need the change in scenery, I guess. Initially, I had planned like making it easier for like Axel to be close to Corey, my wife. But to be honest, every time I see her, I get super nervous, and I kind of just look back at the past, and I know I need to look to the future. So I'm gonna try and do my best to, wouldn't say ignore her, but not send her messages like she's still my wife. Not to say that I'm like sending her like love you messages, but just sending her messages just to see how she's doing. Um, I used to do that, but before I used to get super busy, but and then Apple would turn my notifications off. So a lot of times I would send her something, then she would respond back, and then I would just get wrapped up in something. Um, so I'm just trying to break that habit because I know that we need our space, um, and I think it's going to be helpful for her to, because I know she's going through her grieving process, and I'm kind of going through my own. Um, One of the interesting things is I never actually finished God of War Ragnarok. I picked it up the other day to kind of finish playing it. I was maybe like three-quarters of the way through. Excuse me. There was like a scene between Kratos and Faye. Faye is like the wife that had passed away in the video game, and one of the things that she said, uh, and I'm kind of paraphrasing because I might not remember the exact line, was, uh, to grieve deeply is to truly have loved. And I think that is kind of hit me pretty hard in the chest, mainly with everything kind of going on. I mean, if anybody's ever played the God of War games, it's definitely about growth from Kratos, from being, the standard God of War character to kind of being a husband and father again. So that game's kind of been hit me in the feelings, but it's also kind of helping me see I need to do things differently, and I can't, I guess, sit in the past or remember the past, but I need to kind of find my way forward. So I wouldn't say that game's been helpful, but that game's kind of helping me kind of, I guess, see things in a different light. Not necessarily like any type of therapy or anything, but it's kind of nice to see, like, excellent writing in a video game for one thing, and being able to see that there is growth, and we should be kind of going for that. So I was talking to my buddy the other day, and he kind of said something that I actually had to write down. And I think this kind of comes back to kind of like maybe some men do this, maybe some of the ones that like have that older school feel, or we're kind of like raised a little bit old school. But he said we let ourselves struggle so others don't. And I think that was definitely kind of profound, because I feel like just this last year with, working in the federal government, being a supervisor, with all these executive orders and, the talk about RIF and everything, the stress of trying to take care of my staff and make sure that they're well informed of everything. Excuse me. That they're well informed of everything, they're taken care of, they're safe, they know everything, and obviously the stress of me possibly losing my job because, nobody was really necessarily safe. And then just kind of like how that would look moving forward. I think I kind of kept that repressed to myself and didn't necessarily want to put that on anyone else. I mean, I know a lot of us, the group of us, we kind of like talked and everything, but it was mainly like just joking and kind of doing the typical like military veteran thing where we just kind of joke through, the pain. But I never let Corey know like how stressed and depressed I was with that whole thing. Like, it honestly, I felt so exhausted every day coming home from work from when those first executive orders hit, that I didn't really have anything left, and I didn't want to push that stress on someone else. I probably should have been going through therapy, but as a typical guy, we kind of, I wouldn't say typical, but me as a guy, I kind of held those in and kind of made the strong face and, try to tough it through everything. And obviously it didn't necessarily work out. Hi, Thor. What's up, buddy? But I think that was like one of the big stressors this year, along with, my mom kind of getting rapidly declining from some form of dementia. We don't necessarily know which kind, but after talking to someone, it kind of sounds like it might be like Lewy body's dementia, just because of how progressively it kind of went. So, yeah, it's been kind of a rough year. Honestly, if I could do 2025 all over again, I might have taken the job where I wasn't a federal employee. I was going to be a civilian. Probably should have jumped on that, but at the time at the time everything was safe as far as like my position. There was nothing to worry about, but looking back at it, it might have been a better option, just because it would have been less stress, and I could have maybe wouldn't necessarily say set my own hours, but maybe work from home and kind of be able to help with the kids a lot more and being able to cook a little bit more. So that's just one thing that I kind of look back and kind of see. So one of the rough things that I found, this weekend, trying to pack everything up to kind of move out and kind of clean everything so that way when the apartment stuff kind of goes through, that everything's kind of more done out. I came across something that, so I kind of sleep like crap for one thing, and I think I've always have. I think we've both kind of slept like crap, which probably doesn't help either one of us. Um, so when I would not sleep, I was working on this Our Adventure book. It was kind of like the little book that they had from Up. The story of uh, the old man that was kind of having to take the house to, where his wife at the time really wanted to be. So when I would get up in the middle of the night, I would kind of start gluing pictures in there and trying to like put the memories down so that way we could always like share those memories. And I would give it to Corey sometime, this year after I'd finished, grabbing a couple more pictures. I came across it the other day and oh man, honestly, I just kind of got flooded with so many memories, and I don't know if I would say it's regret. Probably more like self-hatred for myself, just because I feel like I'm a better person than what she remembers. Like I'm capable of being better, and the fact that I feel like I failed is the part that really just hits me in the chest. It's not that I'm necessarily mad, and I think she was kind of surprised that we don't necessarily hate each other, and I think that's maybe something she wasn't ready to hear. I've never hated her. I mean, of course, I've being married, yes, obviously you kind of get frustrated every once in a while, and with 3 kids and 2 dogs, the like amount of stress that we have in our life is sky high, and then we're both supervisors. But yes, I've said some things like under my breath where out of straight frustration, it might have appeared to like I was actually mad at her, but I've never been like actually mad at Corey or the kids or anything. It's just more of that immediate frustration that kind of boils up. So I think that was kind of a surprise for her. I mean, other than that, I guess I'm just kind of looking forward to maybe this week and kind of seeing how everything plays out. Like I said, I got my therapy appointment today. I'm no longer in that class, which was driving me absolutely nuts because it was kind of boring. I passed the test, which was, I guess, good because I will say I was there, like in body, but as far as being there, I definitely felt like I wasn't fully there like I normally would be. And honestly, I feel like that's probably going to be the case moving forward for probably a little bit, is just that kind of phase of just not knowing what's going to happen and kind of everything. So I'm just kind of like all over the place. I think moving out of the house and getting into the apartment is going to be like one big step for me. Excuse me. But other than that, I'm just kind of, I guess, just hoping that I make it through and taking it day by day. I mean, when I say making it through, just kind of, I guess, making it through in one piece. Not necessarily that I feel any type of way. I definitely wouldn't say I have thoughts, but I definitely guess I'm just like super not happy with how everything went down. So my depression is, I felt it was good the day that I got out of the hospital. I don't know if it's like the environment or having access to my phone and being able to look at pictures and everything, or have Apple Photo throw pictures in my face as a reminder. Not necessarily like it's doing it on purpose, but that that's kind of increasing my anxiety and pushing my depression down. And I guess I need to figure out how to maybe not do that anymore. But it's just kind of it's a process, and I'm kind of struggling through that whole process. So I'm hoping this week is much better. I try and run at least 2 to 3 times this week, and then in the mornings go kayaking out on one of the little, I'll call them ponds. They're not necessarily lakes, but go keep myself busy as much as I can, on top of like moving and everything. So I feel like this week is going to be kind of busy, so I probably won't have too much time to feel a certain way. But I feel like it's going to happen anyways, just because the minute that I probably sit down at night, and I would say like I'm bored, but I sit down to kind of get into the routine of like going to bed and everything and brushing my teeth, that I'll probably get hit with depression again. So my only worry is that that's going to be a waterfall effect, just because I kept myself so busy with everything I got going on that it's going to be a bunch of emotions all at once. So I'm not looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but I feel like it is. But other than that, I am gonna take off and go figure out some breakfast. It's really only 4:14. I was actually gonna drive up to Denver today, but I realized I have an appointment down in the spring. So was under the impression I was gonna be doing my 45-minute drive to work, but I will only be doing a 20-minute drive to work today. So I'm up a lot earlier than I had planned. But other than that, you guys have a good day. Try to keep your heads up. I'm gonna try and keep my heads up as much as I can. But thankfully, I have kind of a circle, but I feel like my circle of friends that maybe I'm kind of putting too much stress on them. But have a good day, guys. Take care.